Hey guys, what's up? I'm the Rap Nerd, and this is the first rap album review of my channel. And today we'll be reviewing Krishna's album, Still Here. This is Krishna's second album after his 2014 debut, Sell Out. And despite not releasing an album for over 7 years, Krishna has been pretty active in the rap game. He has been collaborating with some of the biggest names in the Indian rap scene, and even in the rollout of this album in 2021, he collaborated with Royce da 5'9" and DJ Hi-Rez for a single named Crossroads. Needless to say, the expectations were sky high on this one, and Krishna actually had a lot to say on this particular project. So let's get into it. The album starts with the Still Here intro, and in my eyes, it sets the tone of the album perfectly. It's a very small track. I think it just lasts for around like 2 minutes, and the beat is pretty good, and the background vocals of the beat just meshes perfectly with the instrumentals that the producer set out. And you have to give credit to the producer because it gives Krishna a lot of room in the beat to speak his heart out. And to Krishna's credit, he definitely spoke a lot on this one. He talks about the cutthroat life that he has to face in his hometown, New Delhi, and how coming from a middle class background, the grind has to be much higher. And above all, even as a rapper, making a name for himself, especially the brand he has as that of a lyricist, just makes it slightly more difficult for him. But for me, the favorite part of the song comes within the first 8 bars of the song, where it's Krishna talks some really introspective stuff here. Like, play it again, Ishrak.
इस दुनिया से जाना अनजान ये मेरा खौफ है शायद सुने मुझे मेरी मौत पे ये हाँ It's a cold place life भी एक rat race ये है उनके लिए जिनके जिंदगी में sad face Hope this music helps you through the bad days आसपास खाली बोतलें और भरी ashtrays
Krishna is really talking some real shit here. Like, इस दुनिया से जाना अनजान यही मेरा खौफ है. That is something we all think about. It's like every person's midnight thought ever. We all fear of dying unheard of. And that's why Krishna wants to talk about and want to make music for someone, who is not going through a good phase in general, or, who is down, who's struggling with his grind and everything. And he wants to be the voice for those who are in need. And that's what he says that in these lyrics, that's his mission. And he's working towards it. Overall, I think it's a very good intro track, and it just sets up the plate for the rest of the album to play it out. The next track here is What's My Name, and production-wise, this was the song that caught my ear the most. Krishna really decided to experiment with an old-school boom-bap type beat, and which was really good because he's definitely showing his range here, especially in this project, as we'll explain later on. But my only critique on this particular song is that, content-wise, there is nothing much out of it. Like, if you really ask me what did I take away from this song, there is practically nothing to talk about as such. In Krishna's case, he follows this up with an amazing 4-track run, starting up with Roll Up featuring Badshah. And my goodness, this song is a banger. Like, the beat goes super hard, those drums hit really good, the 808s are fat, they go great. And it just has every ingredient to be a banger, and just stay in your list, you be in a workout or anywhere. This song goes real hard. And the hook, my goodness, the hook goes so well with the beat. And I'll be very honest here, I have been singing along to that hook for quite some time. Like, it's so catchy, it's just great. Like, kudos to Krishna on this one. Like, there are a couple of misses in terms of hooks on this one, but he definitely got this on this particular track. He got it absolutely right. Before we talk about Badshah's verse, man, his flow was spot on this one. Like, Badshah was really, had that really laid back but also very arrogant vibe to his, his delivery here. And Badshah also has a very, heavy voice, so it just complemented the beat perfectly. And eventually it just came out perfect, and Badshah stacked it with punchlines on this one. Like, you definitely have to check this one out.
डाले अपने सिक्योरिटी गार्ड में कल्ला अनपाड़ में तर जैसे ताड़ में उठा तूफान हो जैसे रेगिस्तान में टन बोलकर शारजा 1998
Like, that Sachin Tendulkar line is definitely going to make more than just couple of fan bases happy. Like, Badshah is actually a very strong punchline rapper. Like, you have to give him credit for that, despite all the commercial release and the criticisms he gets. He's a very strong punchline rapper, and you can see the wit that he came here with. And let's not forget about Krishna too. He came with some really strong lines like "Mujhe chahiye legacy tujhe kamana 5 din ka," and like there are so many others. He was also very great on this track, and overall a certified banger. And personally speaking, I can definitely see it being in my playlist for quite some time. Krishna doesn't do a lot of interviews. He's not really active on social media as such, and But in his recent interview with Rohan Karyappa, he mentioned that there is, in this particular album, still here, there is not a very unifying concept as such that holds the album together. But from what I felt, that there is always has been this constant mention about his struggle, his feeling of underappreciation, and how there is always this industry fickle-mindedness that he has to deal with. That is something that I felt that Krishna has been dealing throughout this album in numerous instances. And this particular feeling has been symbolized by his next song, Villain, where he takes this metaphor of villain and just builds the whole song around it, where it's like, he mentions all these things, how underappreciated it is, and how certain rappers get more fame despite him putting more work. And he brought Ikka and Karma as well to this song too. So, not just it's a very well executed concept, but also the features that he brought here, amazing. Like, you have to check Ikka's verse, like he killed it on this one. Like, I don't know what to say. That Salman Khan line is actually very cold. Like, that was witty as hell. And even credit to Karma and Krishna as well. Like, overall, all of them exchanged really great verses and a great song as well. So, this run is obviously going great so far. So it was obvious that Dream was the song that got people, kind of intrigued by what story does Krishna have to tell about himself. And Krishna really built this song perfectly, like, using the backdrop of how an air hostess is instructing the passengers about the seatbelts and everything, and the flight is taking from Heathrow to New Delhi. He is giving us this very introspective track about how his journey has been, starting out in London, and how as a school kid he was rapping and he was slowly building a name for himself in the first two verses, and then slowly he shifts toward how that when everything seems to be falling into place for him, he then realizes that he has to go back to New Delhi, and from there on he has to start the journey all over again. The only problem for me here is that although the plot or the storytelling that we got here was excellent, like I really enjoyed the song, the problem here is that from what I felt that the actual part of his journey, like what made Krishna is not really explained to us that much. Like, we got two verses about him explaining us his journey in London, but there is nothing, or we get almost nothing here about how he became from Prospect to Krishna, and how even Prospect was slowly building a name for himself before eventually breaking out into mainstream. Like, when you have a chorus where he mentions that he had a dream, he wanted to make a scene, but then you actually haven't told us about that, how you made that scene. It felt kind of underwhelming because like the hook and the whole concept of the song doesn't go hand in hand in this case. And secondly, I felt that the hook, like, even for the song for what it is, had the hook been better, I would have still taken away with it. That the hook was like average at best and still very largely forgettable. That, like, I'll be very honest, I didn't care about the hook as such. Thankfully, Krishna hit us back with Off Interlude, and my goodness, I really enjoyed this track. Like, it was amazing. The beat goes super hard. It's very jumpy, up-tempo beat, and Krishna is rapping his ass off. Like, Ishraq, man, you gotta play this one.
मुझे अक्सर बोलते थे बस कर रहा मैं डट कर गया नहीं दफ्तर हर अफसर पे लगता मैं अफसर ये पेन मिलिटेंट हर अक्षर लश्कर.
This song was very, full of lot of such witty punchlines. And what I feel is that Krishna has been really comfortable in these very short songs where it's just 2 minutes, you just have to give bars. And Krishna does that really well compared to, these hooks and everything. But still, for the song for what it is, yes, great, amazing, I really enjoyed it. Next up we got is another single from this album, Uzaya Moth, featuring Raftaar. And like I mentioned before, Krishna has really kept it diverse here. Like, the previous song had a very nice jumpy beat, as I mentioned, and What's My Name had a nice boom bap feel to it. This one, Krishna took a different route and he went drill on this one, like the UK inspired drill beat here. And again, it just goes really well, like the high energy, I think that these high energy beats suits Krishna a lot. Like, he's rapping well, and just like his pen gains remain sharp right off from Off Interlude, and he's just going hard on this one. Like seriously, like there are so many bars, like if you try to break it down, chances are that you still might miss on couple of them. Like check this one out.
Just tell me who run it. बंदूक चले बैम जैसे भूवन है. दिल्ली शहर if you really want smoke क्या करेगा चौक पर दूषण है. बातें इनकी लगी मुझे बेकार अगर नाम नहीं लिया मेरा एक बार. If it's dollar sign then it's KR. रहमान देता shots जैसे AR.
Like that was crazy. Like you have to look at all these layers to the punchlines that he had here. Very enjoyable. Like Krishna's lyricism was on full display on this one. And speaking of Raftaar, I think Raftaar's verse was pretty alright on this one. He did a pretty decent Pop Smoke impression, which initially when I heard it, I was really
confused that are his vocals not mixed right?
But eventually I got to know that okay, like as the song went on, I realized that okay, that's a Pop Smoke tribute. So yeah. Speaking of impressions, Krishna himself did a very nice, tidy Travis Scott impression on Naa Time. Like it's very easy to spot that one, right? Let's face it. Like the singy songy flow, the ad libs and everything. It just sounded trademark Travis. And again, the song, I think, yeah, it's okay. Like, it fits the vibe, but neither that is Krishna's strongest suit, and neither, this song necessarily hits the mark in that case. And, in general, what I felt that, my only negatives, my negative reviews of this album are like post fall off interlude. I really felt that, Krishna really decided to switch towards being more experimental. Like you see how almost every song is a really diverse and just Krishna being all over the place. He wants to attack a drill beat, he wants to attack a up-tempo beat, he wants to do a Pop Smoke, like he has someone doing a Pop Smoke impression. He is doing a Travis Scott impression. A next song here with Rashmeet Kaur, there's a woman singing the chorus when trying to be a little mellow and stuff. So he's trying to click all these boxes, but then they either sound a lot forced, or it's just that these songs doesn't have a really nice vibe to it. Like the initial 4-5 songs run was extremely good. It was either filled with content or Krishna is rapping his ass off. It just sounds real hard. But from here on, it just is not only devoid of any content, but also it's the whole song in general just doesn't click as such. And this song is again just the same, Krishna's trying to hit on something on the wall, but it doesn't stick. Same goes for the final track, which is Living Legend featuring Rashmeet Kaur, and nothing impresses here. Like it sounds forced, the hook is bad, and it's really it's a shame that the hook is still bad despite having a singer like Rashmeet Kaur singing it. I feel that the highs on this album were really high. The lows kind of bring it down a lot, but still they aren't like horrible songs. They're pretty average, pretty forgettable, but still the highs leave a really good taste, and leave a very good experience for you to enjoy. So if you just keep focusing on those songs, it's a pretty decent album. If you look at the whole album as a general, it had a potential to be really good, but end up being pretty decent. That's it, that's the review. Let me know what you guys think about it. What did I miss? What do you like about the album? What did you dislike about the album? What do you feel about how this went? Let me know in the comments below, and follow me on all the social media websites. And yeah, this is the Rap Nerd, and wrapping up this review. Peace.